I'm going to do something fun. Okay, it's a little dirty. Shh, I'm doing something really dirty. I have the most amazing guest today. I'm very excited because I wanted to learn everything there is to know about black tanks, and these guys are the experts. So, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us, Charlie.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Tina, and we're Kleen Tank of Eastern Florida.
All right. So, what exactly is Kleen Tank of Eastern Florida? We got to talk about this.
Okay. So, Kleen Tank of Eastern Florida is Kleen Tank, the company. That is our parent company. Kleen Tank cleans RV holding tanks, and we just happen to be the Eastern Florida chapter, if you will.
Very nice.
Kleen Tank is through all 50 states and Canada. So there is a Kleen Tank dealer in the state that you are visiting or residing in.
Fantastic. That's a great. I was just going to say, we want to find them everywhere because we've got to talk about this. Yep. So I want to know everything there is to know about black tanks, but I think we need to start with, if I were to get a new RV, might be getting a new RV sometime soon.
Ooh.
What should I do to maintain my holding tanks, my black tank and my gray tank?
Okay. Why don't you take that one, Jeff?
Well, is this a used or new?
The new, brand spanking new.
Brand spanking new. Well, if it's brand spanking new, don't go down the aisle with all the chemicals they have to sell you, because those will all do things to your tank that you don't want to happen.
They tend to cause a bit of a buildup.
Yeah.
So what we would tell you is, if you are buying an RV new, start out on a good foot by understanding that your tank, your RV holding tanks, are just that. They are holding tanks. They don't need to break down waste. That is for the septic or the sewer to do. Okay. So what we would tell people is, start out with the recipe of Calgon, Pine Sol, and water, which you can find the recipe for that at cleantank.com. And it's also on all of our literature. But you can start out using a solution of the Pine Sol, Calgon, and water. And what that does is it coats the inside of your tanks. So it's three main things that it does. One, it's going to help to keep down odor. Number two, it's going to help to keep down the mold. And number three, it's going to create a slip and a slide inside of your tanks. And that right there is going to be the best thing you can do for your tanks, is to add some of our cleaner that you can make yourself, right, with 3 to 5 gallons of water. It's a great idea to keep water in your tanks at all times, because let's face it, if you're going to the bathroom, you have to imagine that stuff sticks.
So let's talk about the water. I call it a fourth grade math trick. You know, if I've got a 10-gallon tank, how much water should I have in there? What's the sort of portion or ratio I should have?
1/3 full is what we recommend.
Okay. All right. Awesome. This is good. This is really good. And you guys have got tips on your website, which I love. That's really neat. So let's talk about a used tank, because I know, a lot of people buy used. I got to admit, it's fantastic. It's a great way to go out and get started. But sometimes you're picking up other people's problems too, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
we just did one yesterday. Used. It was used, and the guy that bought it had a feeling that there was something wrong with his sensors, and something wrong because there was a smell in it. And he was a second owner. So the company asked us to come out and clean his tanks.
Yeah, well, let's be clear. It was, so the company that he purchased the RV from, he was complaining and explaining to them that the sensors were not working correctly and that he had an odor inside the coach.
Right.
So that company, the dealership, hired us to go out and resolve his problem. And when we cleaned his tanks, he had the blackest gray tank of any gray tank that we've ever seen. This was a Newmar Class A coach, and it was only 3.5, 4 years old at the most. So what we would recommend is, if you're buying a used RV, we recommend you get started on a good foot and have your tanks professionally cleaned. In the gray tank, you're going to be dealing with a lot of mold. That's just kind of the way it goes with a gray tank. Okay. Mold does grow over time. And in the black tank, you're going to be dealing with both mold and also possible struvite, and maybe even a little bit of leftover waste mound / poop pyramid. So listen, you think that when you buy a used RV that they're checking all these systems. They may check systems like lights and the motor, but this gentleman, we ended up changing out his anode rod, which was completely deteriorated for his water heater. And we ended up cleaning both of his tanks, and those tanks were pretty dirty. So it's good to start off on a good foot, get your tanks professionally cleaned, start using the cleaner that we recommend. And this way you kind of are getting rid of any residue that was there prior to you.
Fantastic. Okay, now you said some words. I want to make sure I understand what this is. What is Struvite?
Okay, so Struvite is a mineral deposit, which is a byproduct of a urinary waste. So basically, the same thing that kidney stones are made up of is the exact same thing that Struvite is made of. And it can create a mineral deposit in your black tank. Now, mind you, this is the black tank only. You're not ever going to get Struvite in your gray tank, only the black tank. And it can create it's funny because when we clean tanks, you'll hear a sandy deposit in the sewer hose. You'll hear the sand kind of, banging around in the tank as we're cleaning. Okay, so that usually is us breaking up the Struvite with our hydrojet method, that how we clean. But Struvite can be like sand, it can be like shale, or it can even be as thick as concrete. And the reason why this matters to you is because it is going to possibly cause a clog, because this does not just affect your tank, it affects the piping to your tanks. It could cause big time odor, okay? Because if you think about what Struvite is, it is ammonium and phosphate. It's a mineral caused by ammonium and phosphate. So you're going to get an ammonia smell. And that's going to, over time, most people that call us really call us because of odor more than even the sensors, okay? And the odor starts to smell so bad that they've tried everything and they can't fix it. Usually we know that we're dealing with a lot of Struvite in the tank. And Struvite also will decrease your tank capacity because it gets thick in there. So those are the reasons you would want to have it professionally cleaned, start out on a good foot.
So, okay, Jeff, I got a question here. I'm thinking about this. How often should you get your tank cleaned?
I would say once a year.
Okay.
It's like a PM. It's a preventative maintenance. It's something that you should do once a year. And then the thing is once they get cleaned and they're like factory fresh inside, then if you start using the solution, that should get you for about a year and a half.
Gotcha. So now I'm thinking, okay, I got Struvite, I got mold, I've got all these things in my holding tanks. Little scary, just saying. I mean, trying to think about all these things. How do I know we got the preventive maintenance, so we're going to look on your website and figure out what the solution is and then go from there. And we're going to find someone locally who can professionally clean the tanks. How did you get into this kind of business? I'm sort of curious, something happens, but you guys took it upon yourselves.
Well, it's a need that everybody has. We're RVers first and foremost. So Jeff and I have been RVing for a long time. It's one of our favorite pastimes. We do it most of the time in and around Florida, but we want to travel longer distances. And we thought, why not do the things we love, which is deal with RVs? And so we like the idea of specializing. And the black and gray tanks is something that there's a lot of misinformation about the proper technique for caring for your tanks. Okay. There's a lot of misinformation all around the tanks, poop pyramids, and everybody's so afraid of getting a poop pyramid that they're not even realizing there's other kinds of clogs that you can get that are more damaging than a poop pyramid. So we love the idea that with this business, we could help educate fellow RVers and kind of, do and be around the people that we love being around RVers.
Yeah.
And he's my best friend, so we want to work together.
That's right.
How cool is that? You guys get to shoot the and have fun at the same time.
Exactly. We've been married for
30 and clean it at the same time.
At the same time. How cool is that?
We've been married for 30 years and we're best friends, and so why not work together?
Okay, now I got to ask an RV question. What kind of RV do you guys have?
You want to tell? Do you know the name of it?
Well, is it a travel trailer or a motorhome? Like what kind of RV?
Yeah. So we have a 40-foot travel trailer. It is a what is it? A 2021 Wildwood Heritage Glen bunkhouse.
Nice.
Bunkhouse for our grandbabies.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very nice. I'm excited. I know I'm the van girl. Everyone knows me being the van girl, but I always say, if you are spending money on and I consider trailers to be a bit of a luxury item. Yeah. I really do. Not everybody isn't always necessary. It's a fun thing, but in order to keep those fun things awesome, you've got to maintain them, and maintenance is key. So I really appreciate this. Is there any other tips that we need to know about our black tanks?
So with the black tank, we would just tell people to keep a good amount of water in those tanks at all times. You're really helping yourself out. Water's your friend. So the idea is to keep your tanks mostly water with floating waste. That's how you want to think of it. And if you use a lot of water in your tanks, you're not going to have a lot of issues. It's going to help to control the odor. It's going to help clear out those sensors, and it's going to help you avoid a waste mound or poop pyramid. The other thing we would want you to know is that we do think that every RVer should have a Flush King and a water meter, right, Jeff?
Absolutely.
A Flush King, if you're not familiar with it, it's Volterra. And the water meter kind of helps you to know what amount of water you're feeding into your tanks in order to reverse flush them. And tell them.
Well, most RVs have the black flush, but they do not have the gray flush. Mm-hmm. And with the Volterra Flush King, you can flush out both tanks. Okay. And you can do it from the outside. Mm-hmm. And that the way you do it there is just it does the it works better from running water inside than using what you got inside as like a sprinkler that goes over.
What he's saying is that you have a flush port for your black tank on the outside of your RV, but that only uses hose pressure, and it just covers like the top 1/3 of your tank. The Flush King allows you to put 3 inches, a 3-inch wall of water across the bottom of your tank. And it helps to suck out all of the sediment that likes to sit in the bottom. So we would recommend that RVers consider purchasing or having on board a Volterra Flush King and also a water meter to kind of help them along in addition to their professional cleanings. A little education goes along.
And where can people find that? Would there be something they can find their RV service center? Is it on the website?
They absolutely could find it on Amazon or Camping World, but definitely the Volterra Flush King and the water meter. We love what it does for the way of a more complete flush for your tank.
Well, we also have some products that we keep with us that we can sell.
Right.
Great.
So that's awesome. Sometimes RVers, when we're cleaning their tanks, aren't sure, of what to get. And we do keep a couple on the truck just to have in a pinch. But basically the tank situation, the maintenance of it doesn't have to be hard, but it's a little confusing simply because there's a lot of products to use out there that are marketed to RVers. We're not saying that those products don't do what they say they're going to do. They do break down waste, and they do help to control odor in the long term. But the problem is that your holding tank was never designed to break down waste. It's only designed to hold the waste for short term until it is evacuated to the septic. Okay. When you break down the waste in the holding tank, you create a pancake batter type substance of toilet paper, waste, urine that coats the sides of the tank, coat the sensors, and over time begin to build up. And here's what I want to tell everyone. Nobody knows the smells that you're having inside your coach other than you. And nobody knows how dirty your tanks are other than a tank cleaner. Mm-hmm. And so if you're having those smells, chances are you're having high ammonia content in your tanks that is causing some degree of struvite. I promise you, we can remedy that. 9 times out of 10, we can correct your sensor readings at the same time.
That's impressive. I'm excited.
And by the way, when we do your tank cleaning, we also offer a free water heater flush, and we check your anode rod. And we, most of the time, if people are complaining of odor, we do an odor treatment through the tank that's going to solve a lot of problems. And we give you tips on how you can control the odor yourself for really pennies on the dollar, wouldn't you say? It's really a cheap way to maintain your tanks.
That's awesome. Okay, guys, I'm excited. I'm gonna go flush my tank right now. I'm gonna go out. We're gonna try this out. I'm gonna show people how I do this, which is really funny because I am sort of funny when I flush my tank. But what I'm gonna do is once I do it, I'm gonna go and make sure I put at least a very small holding tank, at least 3 to 4 gallons of water before I do anything. I'm not going to put any additives to it other than what you guys have put on your website. I'm gonna be smart and take a look at this and go from there. And I'm gonna make sure that I get it professionally done at least once a year for preventive maintenance. Correct?
Yes.
Correct.
I got this. Thanks, guys. You were awesome. This is fantastic. So once again, Jeff and Tina, awesome, from Kleen Tank of Eastern Florida. Thank you guys for being my guest. And let's hope we can help other RVers on the road and
Absolutely
keep that stank a little down. This is where we hide the dirty things. Don't put this near your face, your mouth. Don't smell it. It's gross. Don't go there. Okay, one of these. Footloose sewer. Yay, me. Gotta go with that. Make sure this is in, because that would be a really bad surprise. Surprise! If you're wondering what this is actually going to be water that's going to go into my black tank and sort of like swish it around, give it a little stir all around, and then make it come out a little faster. And also clean it. I gotta touch my glasses before I do anything, because I haven't touched anything with you yet. Okay, don't look. There's always a dribble. Okay, are we good? We're not good. We're gonna get in there. Right, there we go. Straddling things. Oh, jeez. Let's not do that. Let's try this. Let's pull that black tank. Oh, that's exciting. I guess it really was full. Now I have no gray water, so I don't have to empty the gray water. So it sort of is what it is. That's what I'm going to turn this thing on so I can. Okay. Empty everything out of the hose. Yeah, let's see. I want to feel it, make sure it's going down.
This is
all right,
like,
that's good. That's good.
This
all
is
right, close the black tank. I'm going to get a little swish. Swish, swish, swish. Apparently I'm also being food for the bugs in there. This is when it's a waiting game. We count to 10, count to 20. Try not to trip over your water cord. I know, so much fun. All right, so I count to 20. We should do it in German, maybe French. I don't know. Does it make a difference? Is it longer in one language than another? I don't know. All right. So I'm going to open it back up. That's what you do. Here we go. I am thoroughly impressed that I have not tripped over this white thing yet, so. I'll do it one more time. Yeah, okay. Rule number 1, don't mess with the dog in the van. It's her job to protect the van from any kind of outside intruders. She does not like anyone touching the van. So, yeah, there's a reason why it says K9 on board. It should say K9 on board. Don't touch the van. All right, here we go. That's pretty impressive. All right, here we go. Last one. Ew. But it should be just water. It should be just water. And we're gonna shut the black tank all the way. I'll take this out. It's all your little white dribble. Clear water, good sign. Now we have this. I like to rinse it because after all, it's gonna have a place. Fun. Water. Gotta love it. Let that drip out for a little bit. All right. Notice how I kinked it. It's a big deal. If you don't kink it, we're getting kinky. Yep. And that is the tail of a stinky slinker. Ta-da! Everything there is to know about blah blah.
Let it flow. That's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let it go.